He did not like all of himself. You know, we call it like
Yeah, like a piece or
the beam of it. Yeah.
yeah.
So when God manifested his glory to the mountain, it instantly crumbled to dust.
Mhm.
So here what happened. So witnessing the mountain's destruction, Moses fell unconscious. So upon waking, he repented for his request and declared
Yeah.
himself like the first
Believer.
of the believers. And he acknowledged that God's essence is beyond a human perception in this life.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that's from
agree.
Islamic perspective. But Moses did not see God.
I didn't say that.
No,
You said he can't
you
limit
said
himself. You just
no. You
saw
said
my
now you
contradiction.
changed. Nah,
I'm
see
not
now you
changing anything.
changed.
You
You
said
said
that he can't be
God. You
limited
said
to
Moses
anything in
so.
reality.
No,
No, you
No,
said
no.
you can't make an unlimited being limited at
nah.
all in reality. And I showed you in the Quran where he does that.
You said I showed you from Quran too. You said that Moses saw God. I said
No,
no, he did not.
Did he
The Old
say he
Come
saw
Testament.
on.
God?
No. The Testament doesn't say he saw God. All
You
I'm
said
saying
that.
is
I didn't say that. You
I
said that.
didn't
I
say
said
he saw
no.
God. I mean,
Okay. You
I
did
do
not.
not go on my words because I don't think
You
anybody
said
can see God in full. But
yes. That's
you
why.
said that God cannot limit himself, and that's I think the other guy was saying that, but when you said that, I stopped you and I was like, yeah, that's not true because he revealed himself in a mountain and then the mountain shattered. So he did
You said
manifest
to
himself.
Moses. You said reveal himself to Moses.
I
That's why I
said
gave you the surah.
during the story of Moses, he didn't. I'm not saying he like showed himself to Moses. That's not what I'm saying.
Ah,
And if
okay.
I did
Yeah,
say that, you know
that's
what? I'll take it back. I didn't mean to say that. But what you were saying was that
yeah.
you can't make an unlimited being like God go into a limited space. And I said, no, there's a proof is then when he revealed himself to. I'll say when he revealed himself to Moses because that's what the story is like about, sort of. Obviously not
that's
in
in
full.
Christianity. In Islam, it's not like that.
no, but also
So
there's like the hadith that talks about the veil that.
I'm gonna give something from outside. So
No,
the
I'm
verse
saying
here, you have
you don't give me
Deuteronomy.
5 verses. Allow me to respond to it.
No. Two. I'm gonna give you two verses, and then you can talk here. So
Okay.
I gave you the first verse, which is Ezekiel 18:20. So the person who sins is the one who will die, and no one dies for another
Yes.
person's
In the sense, yes.
sin. Then we have Deuteronomy 24:16. Parents must not be put to death for what their children do, and children must not put
Okay. Yes.
to death for their parents
Now
do.
let
So
me
every person
respond.
must die for their own
Of
sin.
course.
Okay.
Let me respond to
Now,
this.
if these verses are true, let me finish my
If you're
point, and then
understanding these
I'll mute
verses
myself.
is correct.
I'm not gonna read another verse. I said I'm gonna just these two, but I'm gonna give my point
Assalamu
after
alaikum
reading.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum
I'll dump
assalam.
this entire thing in one
Yeah.
question.
That's my wife, by the way.
Assalamu
So
alaikum.
my
So
question
if
is,
these let me finish the point, please. I'll
no, I
mute myself
understand your
after I
entire
finish.
but the thing is, I understand your point. You don't
I
need to
finish
continue.
then. It's okay. I finish
Brother,
and then you
just
can do
let
whatever.
her finish her point, and
I
then
have
you can
18 minutes.
respond.
Okay.
You'll get your
Yeah.
response. Don't worry. We're
Yeah,
not
of
gonna
course, of
cut
course.
you
I'll
off.
mute myself after I finish the point. So if we're gonna take these verses, these verses like are true, so then the crucifixion itself is legally impossible, as God cannot create a law that says every man dies for his own sin, and then turn around and say, actually, this one guy is going to die for everyone's sin. That will make God a lawbreaker here. So if you believe the crucifixion like settle the score, then you are essentially saying God ignored his own eternal decree of justice. You can answer.
Okay. Now, please listen very carefully. Very carefully. God does not do things that are unlawful. It's your ability to misinterpret unintentionally the scriptures that is leading you to these false conclusions or false contradictions. Horrible. These things were abominations to God. If you're saying this is unlawful, if I see my son crossing the road and and a car is about to hit him, and I decide to jump in front of it and push him out of the way, and I lose I lose my life saving him, and I knew I was going to die, is that an unlawful act that I'm laying down my life, sacrificing my life for my son to protect him? Of course, that's not unlawful. What you're comparing as sacrificing, whatever you're saying, children to someone intervening or putting their life down on the line for someone else is completely two different things. That's the first of all. Second of all, you don't even believe what you were saying about the righteous people being rewarded in this life in every sense, and like how the sins of people won't be punished for innocent people won't be punished. If I have a child and I decide to drunk drive with my child, my toddler in the back seat, and I get in a car accident, he's going to be punished for my sin in the earthly consequence of the sin because he's going to be harmed. That's immediate earthly consequences. That's what the Bible's talking about. The Bible's not saying that if you're innocent, the sins of someone else won't have consequences on your life. You don't even believe that. The entire nation of Egypt was punished for the sins of Pharaoh. The Israelites, they were innocent people who suffer the consequences for other people's sins. David and his family, people were punished for the sins of their father. What the Bible is speaking of, the children on the day of judgment will not stand on behalf of their parents and have to give an account for their sins. But that's not to say that they're immune from the consequences of sin in this world. So just to be clear, just to summarize, one, there's a difference between sacrificing children without their permission, without their consent to false gods versus someone else laying down their life as a sacrifice for